Hi, I'm Mike Keys. I'd like to talk a little bit more about Hiram Williams and how he learned how to play the banjo. Now, I had a very interesting thing happen to me uh, about 3 years ago when I first read a paper in the Western New York Journal of American Folk Music, which is published out of Canandaigua, New York by the Finger Lakes Institute of Technology. And it was an article about Hiram Williams. And I knew nothing about him at the time. It's an article pointed out he had lived in Rochester for a while, uh, and he died in Phelps, New York, after a tragic farming accident. Uh, but because he was living in Rochester, New York, it turned out that he actually taught a friend of mine when my friend was about 14 or 15 years old. What happened was that my friend had seen Earl Scruggs or had one of his records. I'm not sure exactly what the circumstances were, but he asked his father to buy him a banjo, which his father did. Unfortunately, it was a tenor banjo, so they had to take it back and get a five-string banjo. And at that point, he wanted to take some lessons. Well, there was no one there that he knew about who could teach him, but his father had a friend who worked downtown and knew about the Folk League of Greater Rochester. Uh, and he also knew that the doorman there was a fellow named Hiram Williams, who he said was a Scruggs style banjo player. Of course, he wasn't, but that was another story entirely. So they contacted Hiram at the club, and Hiram agreed to teach him. Unfortunately, Hiram never really taught him anything except for one little, I'd call it a trick, that was something that Hiram had learned when he was a kid and had to be placed in the boys' home in Bardstown, uh, where he lived on the campus behind the cathedral. Uh, there was a place called Spalding Hall, which was on the campus, and it was run by Zavarian brothers, which are order of teaching Catholic teaching brothers, and a brother named Brother Giles had taught him this little trick. Uh, just as an aside, later on, Hiram would go down to the train station and would find porters and other workers from the L&N Railroad, most of whom were black, and he would ask people if they knew how to play the banjo, and he learned a little bit more from them. But this was his first lesson. Unfortunately for my friend, Hiram was just in it for the money, and his father figured this out pretty quickly and stopped the lessons. It turned out that Hiram was an embezzler and had a police record and drank a lot. And as a result, my friend was pretty embarrassed even to tell me the story. But because I had found this paper and showed it to him, he gave me this little snippet of his life. At any rate, what he learned was a simple two-finger roll uh, that that sounded like this, sort of boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka, and the rules that were set up were that the thumb would be the lead note, and it would play a string, and then his first finger would follow up with the string that was above it. So if you played the second string, the first string would play the same. And it was actually kind of hard to do, and my friend never really mastered it. But he did. He did. He did show that to me, and I tried it. It wasn't very easy to do. In fact, whenever I tried it, I ended up doing something else. But he called this the three blind mice uh, roll, and the reason for that was that Hiram taught him the tune Three Blind Mice. So it goes. Three Blind Mice, Chickaboom. What Hiram ended up playing was more like this. So it's more like that sort of stroke style, all combined together, because he'd learned from a bunch of different people, and ended up playing the style that he ended up till the end of his life. I thought he might find this interesting. I've been trying to master this Three Blind Mice style, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense in the long run. But it does lead you to doing other things, and so sometimes even the worst styles can have a little bit of a value to them. And in this case, the value for my friend was that he decided he's going to play clawhammer. For me, it was an insight into the mind of Hiram Williams. It's Mike Keys, over and out.